Hello, my name is Juan Flores, of course, and I'm here to review Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Now, this movie, honestly, was the Marvel movie I was waiting for, the one I needed, the one we deserved. Lately, Marvel movies have not been on the mark for, well, let's just say I haven't been a big fan of the latest Marvel movies. Avengers, yeah, long story. Iron Man 3, shorter and more, mad story. Thor: The Dark World was yeah, and then this one comes out, and honestly, I had low expectations. I mean, the first Captain America movie, I actually kind of liked. Yeah, the montage was, everything was kind of glanced off and everything like that, but I think it was enough for me. And yeah, it did kind of rushed it at the end, but in the end, it was a cool movie. It was a decent flick. It was a decent flick. Iron Man is still my favorite, and this movie comes along and wants to change my mind about that a little bit because this movie gave me something I wanted from the Marvel movies ever since Iron Man: character development. In this movie, Captain America is kind of conflicted because now he can't really trust Shield. He's not really he's Captain America, and something that I had a problem with in the Avengers is that his name is Captain America and he's supposed to be the leader of the Avengers, but they don't show you why. In this movie, again, they continue on with that. Clearly they said, okay, Avengers didn't do that, so we'll fix that. So in this movie, he's leading the attacks, he's doing all this stuff, but he noticed that Black Widow has side missions. So he's kind of like, well, Nick Fury, what the F, man? I thought, we were a team and stuff. Well, yeah, but, some things deserve to be kept with us. You can't trust everyone. And he's like, well, blah, blah, blah. They just have this whole conversation and everything. This movie basically centers around this whole conspiracy theory that Hydra is behind everything. Hydra, which we thought was defeated when Captain America was fighting, and back in the day, turns out, not everything died off of Hydra. Turns out that basically how this movie puts it out is that this parasite continued to grow in the United States, with Shield and everything, and it grew and it grew and it spread out, and it pretty much became controlled over. It took control over Shield. It's planning this attack against everyone, and basically they're using all the gadgets, all the all the security guidelines and everything like that as a way to say, oh, we're just protecting you guys. And Nick Fury and Black Widow have secretly been, kind of unraveling the mystery. They haven't told Captain America yet, But once they tell him everything, then, the viewer's eyes open and you pretty much are really, you care about it this time. You care about the plot. It's something that I missed from the other Marvel movies is that you don't really care about the plot. Avengers, what's the plot? Loki comes down, makes havoc, and that's pretty much it. He gets defeated. Not much to it. Iron Man, what's the plot there? Well, after being, attacked by terrorists, he realizes that he's kind of wasting his life. He doesn't really, he's making weapons, but, it turns out that his weapons are being used for mass destruction. So he sets off to shut down his, it's kind of like Iron Man 1, basically, because if you remember Iron Man 1, there's a whole conspiracy that someone is linked to the Five Rings, the terrorist group. And in this movie, Captain America goes through the same problem. He's working for Shield, which is supposed to protect people, but it turns out that they're actually the villains too. So it's now think of it, it's like Iron Man. It's like Iron Man 1, but this is about Captain America. And something that I loved about Captain America is his leadership. He really takes charge. But in the movies, it wasn't shown that. In the first Avenger, it was shown. But I didn't really believe he was Captain America yet. And the Avengers, he was pretty much, in my opinion, like thrown off. Yeah, you get that one scene that it was like funny. The cops like, ooh, I should have listened to you. He's doing all these cool fights. It's like, oh, he's taking orders now. Well, again, that's not Captain America. Captain America is the captain for a reason. It's not just his name. His name's just not America. It's Captain America for a reason. This movie completely shows you why. Towards the end of the movie, he gets this gigantic speech about freedom and just, what you have to fight for what's right, even if it costs you your life, even if it's asking a lot from you. It really makes you want to go, yeah, you know what, yeah. And we're kind of living in this kind of world now where, like, we're kind of, being controlled a little bit and stuff like that by the government. Um, this movie addresses that. It gives out real things to think about. It makes you think. I remember watching this movie and, I was like, you know what, before I walk into this theater, I just don't want another pointless action flick. And this movie has great action. but it's not your popcorn fun flick, where it's like, oh, that was awesome. There are awesome moments, but they're done right. They're done the respectful way to do them. They don't overthrow you things. It's a problem with the latest Marvel movies is that they think if we add more explosions, if we add more Iron Man suits, if we add more, Loki and all this and jibbity jabbada and all this stuff, that it's going to be a good movie, but it's not. Action doesn't make a good movie. It's the story and characters and the action, if it has a real purpose to it, and it's not just to give you nerdgasms, then it sells the park. And this movie does it completely perfect. This movie is full of car chases, action sequences, fight sequences, all these things, and sometimes they're practical, they're real, and it makes you feel like you're actually, there. You feel the punches, you feel everything. And the best part about it is that you know the characters now well enough to care about them. New introductions to, this new character that, he can fly with his wings and stuff like that. I loved his character. I loved his character. The action fights with him and all that stuff, yeah, they were done with CG, but again, you care because you know the character at this point. You kind of get this character development feeling, Captain America finally has a friend, and Captain America kind of has a new girlfriend to go out with, The character's developed. The character is developed. One thing that I hate about the Avengers, when I say I don't like the Avengers, I give out my reasons, one of the first things I say is because they didn't have character development. And everybody tells me the same thing. That's what the other movies are there for. But the thing is that movie basically is a sequel to the other movies. It's basically Captain America 2. It's basically Iron Man 3. It's basically Thor 2. It's basically Hulk 2. Why not continue that? That should be a character development. In Iron Man 3, they did do that. He was traumatized and stuff like that. I like that, but they dropped it off. And maybe I'll review that movie for later. This is my first video I'm uploading. And I'm not by myself. My friend Elijah Dominguez is going to be, accompanying by my side. And before I posted this, I was like, I want to make a review of a movie that I love. I was going to do Gravity because, I love movies that are like this. And I was thinking maybe Captain America, but I'm like, well, I don't want my first movie to be a superhero movie, which I probably will let me down, like the other Marvel movies. But this is a perfect example. Because this movie is everything I want from superhero movies that isn't really given to me at all anymore. Something different, something fresh, something new. This is everything. This is all of the above. If you have not seen this movie, you gotta go see it on a matinee. It's a real good movie. Basically, this movie is probably my second favorite. It's my second favorite. It totally tops the first movie of Captain America, and it totally tops off Avengers, which is, I think is a decent flick. I think it's a little bit overrated. Honestly, the way you tell the movie's overrated is if you go up to someone and say, I don't like the Avengers, people say, what the F is wrong with you? You are the worst person ever. And if you get at least a decent amount of people who say, yeah, I could see where you could say that, if they agree with you at least, then, continue off of that. But if you get people who just like, oh, you're stupid, then most likely, not always, but most likely the movie is overrated. But, basically what I'm going to give this movie is my ratings. Now, here are the ratings that we're going to use for this channel. Now, I'm going to go from bottom to top. So, 0 is a film abomination. The second one is Hollywood crap. It's, 2 to 1 stars. TV, or forgettable, is 3 to 4 stars, which is, a pretty bad movie. TV movie is a meh, it's a 5. Rental is a 6, it's a decent, I rent the movie, check it out with my friends, stuff like that. Blu-ray 7, it's a good movie. Matinee is great, and Full Price is excellent, and Film Masterpiece is a film masterpiece. Film Masterpiece is 10 out of 10. Full Price is a 9, which is an excellent. So, I said all the ratings, and I'm gonna give it, after thinking it through a little bit, I'm gonna give this a matinee, because it does kind of drag in the middle. It's not a perfect film, but it's definitely an improvement for the Marvel movies. And Marvel knows it. Marvel knows that this is a gold mine. This movie hasn't really been getting negative reviews. Avengers got, great reviews, even though I don't really think it deserves it. I think people are overrating the movie. Iron Man 3 got terrible reviews, especially, not because it's a bad movie. It's a good movie, but what they did to the characters is like, it's like spitting on the fans. It's okay if you want to take it into a different direction, but if you don't stick to the core of the characters, then you're, pretty much just saying, hey, I'm just gonna make whatever I want. Again, cool to make changes. Again, I like different, but make it good different. I want good different, great different. Make sense of it. You know what I mean? Again, I give this a matinee. It's a great. Check it out on a matinee. Pay $5 for it. I wouldn't pay full price for this movie in a movie theater because it is kind of dragging along. Once it ends, I'm kind of like, oh, all right, that was a really long movie, and pretty much if you're a big fan of Marvel movies, you're gonna like this movie. You're gonna like this movie. You're a big fan of Captain America, you're gonna like this movie. Now, if you're a little kid, I'm not saying you're stupid or anything like that. You're probably gonna like this movie, but the thing is, when I went to go see it, I saw it with my dad, my brother, and the movie ended, after the movie ended, these little kids got up from their parents' seats and they're like, "We're tired," and they didn't like the movie. Like, this sucked, this sucked. They were literally saying it sucked, and all the parents, all the adults were just like, "No, this is a good movie." The thing is, just this movie is not for you. This movie's more for the adults. Like, well, I wanted to see Captain America and Hulk and Iron Man. That's the thing, is that the Avengers pretty much gave the idea that in order to have a good Marvel movie, you need to have explosions and action movies and fangasms, all like that. The movies have quality, but you need story and characters first, and this movie puts that stuff first, and I really enjoyed it. Again, I give this movie an 8 out of 10. It's a great movie. It's a great movie. Go see it on a matinee. Go see it on a matinee. Go see it right now if you haven't seen it, okay? Don't download it illegally. Go watch it in the theaters, wherever theater is closest to you. Go watch it with a friend, family. That is my review of Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I hope that Marvel gets the message that this is the direction they should be going, especially because I know what they're building up. If you know what they're building up, basically, don't look this up if you don't know, because you're gonna spoil it. You have to come into an open mind. But if you're a comic book fan like I am, you know what they're building up with this. And if you watch this movie again, you can kind of see, oh yeah, they are building up to that kind of thing that we already know about. Basically, I'm gonna say this: if you're a Marvel fan and you know what the Civil War is, I'll just leave it at that. I know, I felt maybe I'm wrong, but this is what I like about movies, that they get you questioning and stuff like that. It's raising questions. Maybe they're building up to it. If you don't know what the Civil War is, the Marvel Civil War, do not look it up. Do not look it up. If you want to read the comic, knock yourself out. But just I'd rather you have an open mind and because it's gonna be for the third Avengers movie possibly. But alongside that, again, I give it an 8. It's a matinee. I like it. It's good. I want more from it. Marvel knows it because they hired these same directors to direct the next Captain America 3 movie, and I'm looking forward to that. Honestly, this movie is good. Probably buy it on DVD, maybe rent it or something like that. But I still give it a matinee because it's good. It deserves an 8. It deserves an 8. There are flaws in it. Again, it's a little overlong. Characters are there, not they're good, but there are some parts where I'm just like, this could have been trimmed out. This could have been trimmed out. This could have been trimmed out. But overall, great movie. Go check it out. This is Juan Flores. Thank you for watching my review of Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and I hope you subscribe and watch my other videos soon to come. See you guys later.